everybody. Welcome to Between the Sheets here on United Broadcasting Network. Hope all your isolation and whatever the hell else we're doing, hibernation, is going well, wherever the hell in the world you are. This is the third Friday of every month, and we're on the first and third Friday of every month at 7 p.m. Pacific here on United Broadcasting Network. We have a wonderful show tonight. As you know, we're Zooming it. We will Zoom it until this isolation's over. We do want you to participate, so please do call in. Yes, we have call-ins, 323-524-2599, and the number will be scrolling somewhere on the screen at some point, but it's 323-524-2599. Welcome to the new normal. I just want to welcome my ladies back. We have Cheryl Murphy in the house.
Hey, Gaye, how are you doing? Good to be here.
Good. Yay, it has been. We have Delicia.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? How are you holding up in Santa Paula?
I'm okay, to be honest.
Okay. We've got Mara Shane.
Hi, everybody. Great to be here.
Hey, Mara, your name says Mara Shabo. What the hell is that?
That's my real last name. It's Mara Zabo. Shane's my middle name, but you guys can get me as Mara Zabo this time because that's what I put in on my Zoom account.
Okay, just check it. I didn't know you had an alias. And then we have the beautiful, lovely, who just cut her hair. Kim Sanchez is in the house.
Hi, Kim.
Yay! This is done. If you want me to cut your hair, I'll go for it. Just saying.
Hey, why are you on twice?
Who?
You. There's two Kim Kimberly Sanchez. Oh, never mind. That's the station thing. I know what he's doing. Hey, Kurt. Kurt's there, man in the keys, and I'm still technologically stupid right now. And then, of course, all the way from England via California and eating food, as she always is, and if she's not eating food, she's drinking wine, is lovely Cara Noble.
Is there something in my teeth?
Yes, So today's show, I mean, besides that, we're going to be funny, and only us can make this serious topic funny, and the topic today is on addiction. I pulled out Rachel Simpson all the way from Florida. She is the owner-operator at Dynamic Wellness Solutions, a certified addiction interventionist, certified dual diagnosis therapist. I have no fucking idea what that means. But in any way, you're qualified at doing what you're doing. Welcome. Let's everybody welcome Rachel Simpson in the house.
Thank you. What a pleasure. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy you're here. And then, well, of course, I pull up this woman's bio and it's 17 pages long. It's, she's a Latinx. I like to use that word Latinx. Would that be appropriate, Sandra, to use Latinx?
Okay, sure. Yeah.
All right. Latinx. I just like to say it. It's comedian, actor, singer, and downright badass from Texas. And we all know her because she's one of our kind, except for Cheryl's kind and Cara's kind. But the rest of us, she's our kind. It means she's a lesbian. It's the wonderful, fucking funny. She had a show off Broadway. We'll talk about it, but it's Sandra Valls. I'm so happy, but I wanted to tell you all a little bit of information about Sandra Valls. No, I did not sleep with her. But in my second incarnation of Between the Sheets podcast, I met her a long time ago through Sharon Glass, Berlin, something like that. But in my second incarnation, before she blew up, she humbly joined the panel at Between the Sheets as a rotating co-host. So I want to say welcome home, Sandra.
Cool.
Welcome home.
Cool.
That was so much fun. Yay.
Yay.
And she used to dress really butch and have a hat on and a tie. Very guapita. Very guapa, I got to say.
I used to.
Wow.
Now it's just T-shirt and tennies,
Femme now.
You get older, you get comfortable.
So, hey, trust me, I have no pants. I'm doing this in no pants.
I don't have any pants either.
No pants.
I was waiting for somebody to say that.
You know I don't wear pants. Don't tempt me.
So I just want to say thank you, everyone, for joining us. I always want to do a check-in really quick and see what everybody's been up to before we start moving forward and letting the crazy train leave the station. So I'll start with Cheryl. Cheryl, what have you been up to?
I've been doing so many online Zoom meetings and, giveaways, fundraisers, trying to help out all the healthcare workers, actually trying to support everyone. But I have been on Zoom for like 3 days straight now, nonstop, day and night. I can't tell you. It's been so much. It's so popular.
So welcome to our world.
Yeah.
Delisha, what have you been up to?
Whoa, you said my name right. Oh my gosh. I've been doing a lot of gardening. I actually got some coconut trees from Hawaii and I planted those and a macadamia nut tree and I got my whole garden ready. I'm ready for the apocalypse. So I will have veggies at least.
Do you have an avocado tree?
I do. And a lemon and like 2 different kinds of lemons, 3 different kinds of oranges, pomegranates, like lime tree, kaffir lime tree, whatever you need. I got it, man.
I'm coming up with my mask and my gloves when they're ready.
Right.
So Mara Shane, what have you been up to? My beautiful, inspirational, creative artist.
Thank you. I have been working on a really cool project for Delisha. It's a painting that she commissioned from me, and it's huge. It's very, very large on my wall, and I've been working on that. I've been trying to work out in my tiny little studio by doing like aerobic dance videos, but it hasn't gone very well. Sorry, my cat, my little kitty. That's it, really. Just painting, working, and that's it. Yeah, isn't he cute?
He is cute.
Beautiful.
Adorable little cat, actually.
Yeah, cute.
So, it is cat cute. Cara, what have you been up to?
Well, I don't want to boast, but I grew my own avocado tree. I'll just have you know that. I did. I grew it from seed. It's about this tall now.
Nice.
But I also, like Delisha, I've been planting food this week, just in case. Squash, cucumbers, peppers. So I got a little garden going. And I'm working on my Taj Mahal mosaic, and I've now started on the sunny side. So I'm just doing sunrise at the moment, so that's exciting. And also do dancing every day. I do either a salsa class or a yoga class virtually every day, online.
Fantastic.
Well, very cool. And Kimberly is out there, just working. So what's it been like? What have you been up to, sweetheart?
Well, I have to tell you, coming home today, and okay, so can I ask something? What does it mean when the computer's saying my network bandwidth is low?
Yeah.
That means you freeze.
You'll freeze every once in a while.
Is that bad? I mean, is that happening right now? I can't tell.
No, you look gorgeous.
No, you're good. You're good.
You're gorgeous.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, I'm just working today. I actually can't.
Oh, there it went.
Now you're frozen.
I don't know who's out that hasn't been out lately, but there are a lot of people out today.
That's not good.
Exactly. I know. I went out to go get some groceries, and it was like, again, just a regular day. And I don't understand. And it pisses me off. This stupid woman on my street, she was walking around with her baby carriage. And I'm sure there's no baby masks, but she was just going down the street with the baby and no mask. And I'm like, and I literally wanted to just jump up there and say, what the fuck are you doing, you ignorant bitch? But, I didn't. I didn't want a bar brawl. I really did. I had one of those already. I don't want to repeat that. Just only one. It took me 55 years to have my first bar brawl. That's not so bad. Sandra, what have you been doing?
Eating.
Yes.
Snacks. All those snacks.
I mean, snacks.
Take that.
A lot. Actually, I think everyone can relate to. There's so much time, but then you kind of don't have time. You're like, where did it go? Kind of trying to balance it out. I have been getting back to my Buddhist practice. I chant. So I've been doing that with a group every day, chanting for the vibration of the planet. I've been walking. I've been exercising. I'm here in Austin. I was doing a play here called Roe, as in Roe versus Wade. I played Roe's girlfriend. Who knew she was a lesbian? I'm sorry. I didn't.
Was
I
she
didn't know
really a
about Roe v.
lesbian?
Wade. Yes.
Oh,
Anyway,
No.
there's a lot of stuff about the Roe v. Wade that I didn't know, but it was canceled. So I was stuck in Austin with my sister. Every Saturday we do a really fun playroom karaoke where we wear these weird Viking hats and we just do throwback from the 70s and 80s and 90s and whatever. And because I also sing and my sister and I harmonize and we plan that like all week, what songs are we going to sing? And that's a Saturday at 7 Central.
And then Gayanne types in, play this song, sing this song, sing.
And then I'm all like, and then suddenly, last summer, suddenly, I was like, I got that last summer.
You have a good voice.
She's a singer.
Yes, she does.
And
Hey,
so
Sandra.
Monday.
Hey, Sandra, you were chanting for a vibrator. Did you get it?
We have, yes. It's a continuation of keeping your vibration up daily, minute by minute, actually. We chant Namyo Horenge Kyo, if anybody wants to join us at 4:30 Central for an hour.
I don't think
and
that's
it's so
what you
important,
meant.
I gotta
Was it
say,
Kara?
because
Can I just say, I truly chanted for a vibration and a vibrator came in the mail.
That's what I thought you meant.
Just saying.
is that, I didn't hear you. You said that the vibration come. Oh, please.
Yeah.
I got carpal tunnel going on here. So, it's been a while. But
I have a client that I print for Crave, and I told her when this first happened, man, you guys are going to be busy. And she was like, I don't know about that. Then did you see the SNL skit they did about breaking the vibrators all the time?
No, but I'm very grateful for a shower massage.
As we all are.
I take very long showers.
So do I. And Rachel, what have you been up to? You're in Florida, correct?
I am in Florida. And I think my mom's watching. So hi, Mom, if you're out there. And so I've been very fortunate that for me, my business doesn't stop because, addiction doesn't just, close its door and shut down because of the pandemic. So I am in one particular hospital as the nursing supervisor for a detox. And another company that I work for that we can talk about maybe a little bit later, which is unbelievable, is In-Home Services. It's a company that partnered with Blue Cross Blue Shield because they were so impressed with the model. And so the clients get 52 weeks of services. So there I'm the clinical director in the sense that I manage the teams and I make sure that all the patients are seen. Normally we would do it in their homes, but now we're doing it all virtual. So I've learned a lot about Zoom and, so I'm doing that. So I'm very blessed in the sense that, I can still work during these times. And that the second one, since it's home, at least I get to spend, a lot of time with my son that normally I wouldn't get to. And but it's a rough time for addiction right now.
Well, I was just going to say, I would think that people that are like isolated at home and stuff like that their addictions and their self-medicating would come out even more now.
Yeah. I just lost 3 people in the span of a week that I've worked with or were one of my clients. So it's been bad.
I'm sorry.
A lot of relapses.
I'm sorry.
That's a tough time right now.
Yeah. This is probably the worst thing that could happen for people in recovery, especially early recovery.
Yeah.
When there's not a lot of people around to hold them accountable and, they're kind of on the fence about meetings or recovery resources or any kind of support. And if they're home alone, that's it. They're isolating. They're probably saying, I'll just drink right now and get myself through this day, or I'll just use them. But that never is, the appropriate solution ever. And it's much worse now because they're not going to meetings. They're meetings online. It's just not the same. And, I know that's the difficult thing that's happened with a couple of my clients. It's just the support isn't the same. And it's just a shame. And, people, since they're in fear now and fear is, such a monster for people in recovery. There's a lot of fear. The energy for my clients is so different when I am in the hospital and it's just so fear-based. So It's really messing with people in recovery and mental health because I treat both. So, yeah.
And they go hand in hand, right?
Of
Right.
course.
Okay, I want to interrupt. We have our first caller. Kurt?
Okay.
Hello, caller. Are you here? Hello, caller. Welcome to Between the Sheets. Anything? Kurt, anything?
I have them on. 858
Hello?
area code. You're on the air.
Hello, caller. Speak or forever hold your peace. We will hang up on you. I'm sorry. Okay.
All right. Well,
Hang up on him.
I'm hanging up on him.
Whatever. All right. So, Rachel, how do you deal with, like, for example, addiction? Like, do you think everybody has somewhat of an addictive personality?
No, what we've known in the last couple of years is that it is a disease. It is a biological disease. It's genetic, it's environmental. But not everybody has that personality because there's many people, I'm sure can have a glass of wine on a Friday night, not think about it again, might have smoked in college and never picked that back up again. So, it's not that everybody has it, but the people that do, they really need people who understand that this is not just about willpower. I buried a 26-year-old brother to this disease, which is why I dedicated my entire career to doing what I do. And it's not about willpower. Any of us at one time or another might say, like, I have autoimmune issues and I have celiacs, and I know if I eat gluten or certain things, I'm going to be sick. And there have been times when I previously wrestled with, it's just one time. That's the rationalization that goes on in the mind. It's just one time. It's not going to hurt me, but my one time could land me in a hospital. Easy. So until you become disciplined and understand that the consequences aren't worth you.
Okay, she just stuck. All right. Rachel, if you can hear us, you may have to call back in, but that's not a problem. We'll just continue on.
Yeah, sometimes clicking the video off will strengthen the bandwidth, and then she can come back on.
Oh, there you are.
There you are.
Hi, you're back.
Rachel,
You're back.
I have a question for you. Actually, it's a two-part question.
Okay.
Can you explain the difference between an addiction and a habit? And do you think it is possible for somebody who has previously had an addiction to turn that into a habit?
I think the difference is when you talk about addiction, generally there are pervasive negative consequences. And, it's not just for the person. The one lie that every addict tells themselves when they're in the throes of active addiction is, I'm not hurting anybody but myself. And that's a big, bold lie, because you're hurting everybody around you that loves you and supports you and counts on you, and family members that don't want to see you die. And a habit, it can be benign. Maybe somebody who picks their nails, right? Or bites their fingernails, they're not going to die.
I mean, a lot of people are addicted to exercise, for example.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's very, very pervasive in this field. There's obviously, we know about eating disorders and restricting and purging, but there are many women that are addicted to exercise.
And by the way, there are a lot of people addicted to people, bad relationships.
Well,
Gaye,
this is what I was going to
yeah.
Just saying.
Addiction is a behavior. Addiction isn't the substance. It's not the drink of choice. It's not, the sex, even though that becomes, an addiction, or the gambling. It's the solution to the problem for them. So addiction is about covering up. So when I have groups, and I travel all over doing interventions, like all over the world, I've been doing that for 15 years, and it doesn't matter what the behavior is. And I tell people this all the time, because the common denominator is spiritual, emotional pain when we're devoid of something that we need and we can't find it. So, you can pick up, but that's not the problem. The problem, again, is the trauma. Many, many, many people who suffer with addiction have had trauma in their life. But the problem is sometimes you don't recognize, the lay person doesn't understand, and they'll say, no, well, I've never had trauma because maybe they weren't physically abused. But, divorces cause trauma for children,
Sandra, you had a question?
Yes. My question is, I've had a few friends who are clean and sober and years and years, and some, a few years. But I've also had friends who say they were alcoholics and or they were on another substance, and then they're like, but right now I just smoke weed, but I'm still clean and sober. And then you have other addict friends fighting with them I've been like going, ladies, because they're like, that's not clean. Well, who are you to tell me? And then they go back and forth. And Sandra used to smoke cigarettes. I'm like, whoa. How did I get dragged in?
Right.
So you explain somebody who is clean or clean and sober, what exactly that means. And are they clean and sober if they still smoke weed?
Okay. So originally what we had to help with addiction was what everybody knows, which is NA and AA and those type of 12-step resources. So within the confines of the 12 steps and 12 traditions and how they work, what they call the rooms, which is NA and all those meetings, it was created to be based on abstinence. And so a lot of people get stuck because maybe something that they're doing isn't necessarily complete abstinence, but their life is manageable. I don't think anybody gets to make that decision for anybody else. But I think the stigma came from like I said, these meetings that said, oh, wait, you relapsed on this or there are many people in those rooms that don't even believe in antidepressants. There are people who are stabilized on marijuana and, they haven't shot themselves in the arm with heroin for years. I don't think anybody gets to decide, what that means. Everybody needs to have a personal opinion about it and what it means for them, especially now with all this MAT, which is medication assisted treatment, right? So there's Suboxone, there's Vivitrol, there's all these.
Sound like video games.
Yeah, I haven't heard of these.
I played Vivitrol.
Really depends because again, it's about bad behaviors and bad consequences. Who am I to say if somebody stays on Suboxone for a long time and now has a good job, right? And now is not having any issues in their family dynamic. They're not stealing money anymore for heroin, but they're on Suboxone and it's keeping them, feeling good, having no cravings, and they're managing life.
But don't you think it's important beyond the Suboxone to get their mental health regulated as well?
100%. Okay. And what we always say, did you want to say something, Gal?
No, go ahead.
Okay. We always say that the only real treatment is if you're going to do medication, you need the therapy.
Yeah, you need to balance it out, right?
Because, therapy. Exactly,
because
Cheryl.
Again, the drug is not the problem. It's the behaviors.
Exactly, because it's self-medicating. All these substances and addictions are all just self-medicating a pain or a trauma. And I talk about this all the time. I do these live Facebook things, and I have an addictive personality, smoking, and women. But,
and smoking women and smoking
women. My women are all smoking. Okay. Just smoking out is right. But I'm just saying, it's kind of like, it's interesting because I go and I go, what is it in me that allows this to continue and have these repetitive patterns?
Right.
And, seriously, I think about it and it's hard, because you have to admit to yourself sort of what the trauma is, what the this, what the that is. And, and it's hard to admit it because it's kind of, sometimes I believe like a weakness that you don't want to admit the weakness. So if you do and it makes you less of, because then it becomes, well, then obviously I didn't cope, but it's actually you're hiding the trauma and you're self-medicating, really not to deal with the issue.
Yeah. That's even like a whole nother ballgame. And when you talk about, people having emotional addictions, there are people that are addicted to love, addicted to, intimacy. And, it just depends on what's underneath. A lot of women that behave like that lack self-esteem if they continue to have these unhealthy, toxic relationships, and then they get out of them, and then they find themselves in another one, and it's a lot of time with women. It is low self-esteem, and it has a lot of times with how they were raised. What was that message? What was the narrative when you were growing up? And I don't care if you're 20, 30, or 40, we can all behave in ways based on those old narratives from, our parents or society.
I mean, there has to somehow, I think tying in to, okay, for example, if someone comes to you, okay, and says they have an addiction, do you sit there and deal with the underlying cause? Do you go to that root or bring them back, and sort of what modalities and stuff do you use in your practice?
Well, and there's a ton out there. So some of the things that I enjoy working and that I find that is really helpful is what is called CBT, DBT, solution focused. I believe I don't always feel like I have to take somebody all the way back, to the actual events and relive, how old psychiatrist on the couch. A lot of times it's about pointing out where the resilience is and where your strengths are, and then using that to get you to the next step. And people have to understand it is a process, a long process. It's not one event and then it turns over. It really is about unraveling, like we say, the layers of the onion and peeling them back. But finding out, for me, what I find works is always talking about strength-based things and then understanding barriers. So we really like to focus on what you do well and where your strength is. And if you can connect to that, you can have more motivation to understand that you can do something with your life.
Sandra.
But I have a question, because I used to watch these reality shows, and that reality show Intervention.
Of course, I've worked with them.
I watched it a couple of times, and it just seemed to me like, to me, okay, it just to a normie, that it was so shame, like it felt shame based to me. Like, look how horrible you're and I understand, I'm not dissing anyone. I understand the family members have to get it out. And I feel this also because it's a family thing. But I just kind of felt like, damn it, I'd want to run out of there too if everybody is telling me how I sure. I'm like, you did this to me, you did that. You're like, screw you all, I'm out of here. Like,
yeah, see ya.
It just feels like how, and I'm sure there's a lot of success cases. But to me, from the outside, how is that? Who came up with that way to what seems like an attack to the addict of what a horrible way you're making me feel? That's
kind of like tough love. It's kind of like that tough love technique, correct? Yes, am I wrong?
But I'm just asking. Obviously, it works for some. I just don't know how that is the most effective. I'm just what are your thoughts on that? Because because right. It just, if I was the addict, I'd want to kill myself. Like, I heard all these people, I want to get the fuck out of here.
So there's a couple ways to look at that. And, for TV, they make it a little bit expansive, but the truth is, because I have literally been doing interventions for so long, and there are different models. And as a matter of fact, everybody on that TV show uses the same model that I use. But what you're seeing is just this snapshot of today, right? But if you have already brought in an interventionist, then the behavior has been there for very, very, very long time. So it's not about, and when I owned my treatment center, not my outpatient practice, when I owned my treatment center and patients were coming in to stay in, the one thing that I absolutely insisted on was all my staff had to show everybody love and respect and and treat them with dignity, because yes, they already come in broken and battled from what you're saying about the family. But chances are, once you're at the point of an intervention, they have done so many things that the family is now at a loss.
Right.
So what has to happen is that the client, the patient, really needs to hear, like somebody said, tough love, the truth. But the way that you go about the intervention is always with, we love you.
Okay, yeah.
I always make I meet with my families the day before. They have to write their paper. But we always come from a place of, we love you and this is why we're here. But it is okay for the family member to remind the person gently, you don't know, there's so many families like that have lost their homes because they've mortgaged them 3 times to help their.
That's so terrible to hear. Oh my goodness.
It is horrible. Sandra, I think it's time for a song. What do you think?
Yeah, I do.
Out of nowhere, I just cuz.
You got a song?
Change.
You got a song?
I mean, I wasn't prepared.
Well, you have to showcase all your talents on Between the Sheets, not your knowledge.
What? Like, I wasn't prepared. I don't even have a...
It's okay. We'll move on. You just pick a song. I have a question, though. I saw you, Delisha, but my question is, because everybody, Cheryl's quiet, Mara's quiet, Kara's quiet, Kim's quiet. I want you guys to get involved. I know a lot of you personally.
Yeah.
It's not my business to divulge anything about your lives, but I want you guys to speak up, because I think all of us here, we all have addictions at some point. We all do. We're addicted to something. Cheryl, maybe not you because you walk on water. But other than Cheryl, I think everybody else has dealt with some addiction. And it's not necessarily, alcohol or pot or this or that. But I'd like to sort of, everyone talk about it, because if we're going to engage in a conversation, and this is the time to be aware, we're here, we're functioning, we're working through it. There is no shame to being an addict. I think that's what goes back to you, Sandra. They're pigeonholed and they're like talked down to and all that other stuff. I think it's something that's normal. It's part of life. It's part of what we go through. Maybe I'm one. Maybe I have my best friend. Maybe my mother, my father. My mother was, my mother's doesn't care, but my mother was a gambling addict. She lost a shit ton of money, and I will not, because this is my mom, I will not go into personal stories, but it really did it had a problem with the family. And if my mother could come out here, I'd have her tell it, because she has no problem being on camera. So, but my point is, but she's deaf, and then she'd be screaming, it'd be a mess. But anyway, I would like everyone to sort of, I want everyone to know that we're just like them. We have issues, we have problems. So I'll start with you, Cheryl.
Yeah.
What's your addiction? And you could say chocolate. You probably say chocolate.
No, I would say it might be eating, though, right now, just because of the coronavirus thing and being indoors. Like I have never had so much sugar in my life, though. Right now, I don't know if it's an addiction, but it's really something I got to think about stopping, because it's not like me or something. It's almost like filling the void or filling the gap.
And it lowers your immune system.
Boredom.
And pardon?
That's probably a trigger for you, is the boredom.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect example.
And you can just tell, I can tell how irritable I get too off of it, right? It's like a drug. I'm telling you, it's like, you can start feeling the craving happening.
Sugar.
Yeah.
So, mm-hmm.
Are you complete? You addict, you?
I'm awful.
Okay.
Sugar's a big one. There's been so many books written about sugar and how
the
elements of sugar inside of your brain they equate to the same thing as heroin when it breaks down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mara, what's your addiction besides your kitty?
You know what?
Code for something? Yeah.
I have addiction, and I'm lucky that I wasn't. In all seriousness, I wasn't born genetically. I wasn't prone to anyone in our family being an addict. It's environmental, and it's also in the genes. And I'm really lucky that I haven't. I had a best friend that passed away from being an addict, And it was the most intense, horrible thing I've ever been through. And I first went to, the 12-step groups, the anonymous. So maybe I'm not supposed to say it on the air, but Codependence Anonymous was one I went to for myself. But because that it's just like dealing with relationships and people. So I went to that one first. And that was the first time I ever really understood all about the serenity prayer and what an acceptance and, all those concepts. I hadn't heard them before. So, yeah. And then my best friend simultaneously was getting worse and worse with her addiction. So I went to Al-Anon, which is for friends and family of addicts.
Well, thank you, Mara, for sharing. Cara.
Mara, you seem to be addict adjacent.
Probably. I mean, I get really addicted to painting and my passions, but I don't really know what else I'm addicted to. Well, maybe sometimes people, but I think everyone has that. But using that term lightly is different. It's
right.
Not the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Cara, and you? What's your addiction, miss?
I've always been addicted to chocolate. I don't call that an addiction. That's just who I am. That doesn't worry me. But it doesn't seem to drive me too crazy. I don't know. I've just come out of a long relationship where I found I was a codependent. I didn't really even know what that was before that. And that includes being a love addict. So this is all actually quite new to me. And have been doing a lot of work on it, and I'm doing a lot of reading on it, and I'm doing therapy and everything else. But yes, in fact, since I started this show, a lot of interesting things have happened in my life. When I started this show, I was happily married. I am now divorced and a codependent. What happened?
Well, better than being, married and a codependent if you weren't happy.
I thought I was happy. I mean, I see this sickness, and I was sucked into something. It's called a trauma bond, and it is a very, very dangerous place to be. And I'm very lucky that here I am alone with my cats.
like you should be a lesbian.
What happened?
Yeah.
Sandra, you're up.
What?
What's your addiction?
I love smoking cigarettes. I used to smoke a pack a day when I was like younger, super young in my 20s, a lot. And but I'm glad that I kind of went, this is a little bit too much, and I stopped doing it. And now I can smoke when I go out and maybe, here and there. But I really love smoking cigarettes.
Wow.
I love cigarettes.
How can you do that? How can people be a smoker and only do it now and again when they fancy?
I am so happy that I could do that, because in the past I couldn't. Now I'm like, yeah, sure. Like if I'm on vacation or if I get angry with my girlfriend, I'll go and walk a mile to get a pack of cigarettes and smoke and whatever. And I love sugar. I love snacks. I just love sugar. I love cookies. I love candy, sugar babies. But I'm also codependent. I realized that 7 years ago when I had a breakup, and somebody suggested I go to CODA, and I went, but I'm not. I'm very independent. I'm not codependent. I might be ACOA, but I'm not no codependent. Then I get there, and I'm all, holy shit. And, you're not supposed to talk in some meetings, and I was all like, but wait a minute, what is this about the advice thing? If I have good advice, why can't I give it? And they're like, because no one asked for it.
Right.
So, like, who gives a shit? That's not being codependent. That's being Mexican. That's being a Latina to help fucking people. Be careful. There's a hole there. You're going to fall into the hole. You just fell into the hole.
Well, but people have a misunderstanding about what codependency is.
Right. And then I read the book, and I'm all like, God damn. Okay. Here's a funny story about the book. So I buy the book, and I'm at Barnes & Noble. The CODA book.
Oh, there's a CODA book. More. I don't know. Okay.
There's a Codependent No More book.
By Melanie Beattie.
Huh?
By Melanie Beattie.
Yes.
Yes.
And so I go to the cashier and this young girl, and I see a stack of books like right next to her. And I go, see, it's a really good book. And she goes, yeah, this lady bought all these books for her friends, but her friends didn't want them, so she returned them. And I died laughing. And she didn't get it. And I go, you don't get it. It's a book about codependency, and she bought it for her friends.
Got it.
And nobody wanted it. She goes, okay. I'm like, okay. I can
Forget it.
Forget it. That was just,
people often hear the term codependent and think what it means is that they are consistently dependent on other people.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not really what it means.
No, it's not.
What is the definition, Rachel?
Yeah,
The definition of codependency is when you give up so much of yourself to please somebody else, so that it's not that you're dependent, it's that your happiness depends on you doing everything for them.
So all Mexican women.
Italians too. Italians too.
There's a difference in doing things for your partner and your lover, but not at the expense of yourself.
Yourself. Yes, if I may.
That's very important.
Sorry. I was just going to say the biggest thing I learned in these 12-step programs is to keep you go in there rattled with all these focuses on other people, whether it's the addict or whether it's the, your person you're dating or your, whatever it is, it's never focused on you. And a lot of this, what I learned in the 12-step groups is to turn the focus back on myself, because that's, again, right, Rachel, that's the only thing that I can control. Is right. Is my, and then also the serenity prayer, which I really wanted to talk about, because that's the heart of it all, really.
Okay, let me take a break 2 seconds. We do have a caller. I'm ready.
Hey, Gaye, it's Ursula.
Hi, Ursula from Florida. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm doing okay. I was calling in, and this is going to be kind of hard. I've been recovered. I'm a recovering alcoholic, 20 years plus. And
congratulations.
Thank you. But my recovery, I guess, I kind of had an experience. It wasn't like I decided to get sober. It was like one night I was laying in bed, and I know a lot of people are not going to believe this, and this is why I don't tell this story often, but I had been drinking the night before. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was sober by this time. And I had this, what I call God, I had the spirit come to me at the end of the bed, and God said to me, you will never drink again. And it faded. And I just sat up. I sat up in the bed, and I said, oh my gosh. And it lifted off of me. Like nothing else. Like nobody else could say anything to me.
Yep, I believe that.
Well, Cheryl would know that, because that's what Cheryl does. She talks to dead people and stuff. So,
well, it's a visitation. It's a visitation. It's not just a dream. It's an experience.
It was total. It was a total experience, and it was. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's a spiritual awakening.
Well, it changed my life.
Well, and now you're better for it. So that's a beautiful thing. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. And we're all, I mean, I applaud you, Ursula. A, I applaud you conquering it. And B, I applaud you for speaking about it, because you will inspire others. So thank you.
Yes. Congratulations. Well, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ursula, I'll see you tonight on my Facebook Live.
Okay, hon.
Bye.
Okay, hon. Bye-bye.
All right, so before we go on, I do want to go around, because Rachel, I know we've got a couple more, and then I want to just talk about it, and Sandra, prepare a song. Delisha, what's your addiction?
Addiction, I don't know. That's why I asked the question earlier. So I used to be very addicted to weed, and I actually started smoking weed when I was 8 years old. Whoa. And I was smoking it daily by the time I was 13. And I stopped when I I don't know, probably 30, round about 30, 31, and I gained 100 pounds. But I quit for 15 years and no problem. It was 2 years of me waking up and basically beating myself up every day saying, I'm not going to go smoke pot today. And every day I would go smoke pot. And it was 2 years of that over and over and over again. And then I quit for 15 years. And then I got sick again. Trump became president. My girlfriend and I broke up. Pot became legal. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. And my doctor said, you should try and take CBD for your pain. And I was like, no, I'm an addict. But I was actually able to take my addiction. And it took a couple of years to do this because as soon as I started smoking again, it was like addiction, even CBD. I felt it. And I was like, oh, I remember this. Hi, old friend. So it was like, it took me a couple of years, but I was actually able to overcome the addiction. And I smoke it every day, but I don't feel like it does anything negative. It's actually a huge positive in my life. I have mucho gratitude for cannabis, and it has saved my life on numerous occasions, and I know that. But I'm lucky. I'm one of the lucky ones that I don't have, like, I could leave for a month and not think about it, and I'm okay.
That's awesome. Well, thanks, Delisha, for sharing. And now we'll get to Kimberly Sanchez.
Well, I have a very complicated relationship with addiction. I think that the addiction is actually to self-loathing. I don't think it's to a substance. I think it's to self-hatred, and I think it's to insecurity. And I have been sober from every substance for 6 years, 4 years, 3 years, and then I've been addicted to every substance: cocaine in the 80s, pot in high school. Alcohol is a huge crutch for me if I'm needing to check out. Food, people. I mean, I think the only thing I have never done is like cigarettes and gambling. But those
are the easy ones.
I know, right? I no longer feel like it's about the substance itself, because I could take every substance out of my life and be addicted. I got addicted to work. I got addicted to a relationship where anything that you're losing yourself in, but then you kind of have to go, why am I losing myself in this? I mean, why? And I think that somehow is the key to where the addiction is. I don't know. Rachel, how do you feel about that?
You were frozen, or I was frozen for a little while, but I think what you're asking is why do you end up back relying on these things? And, as I listened to you, like the way that I felt, it's about self-soothing. Mm-hmm. And so when we don't know how to sit with ourselves and sit in our own skin and be okay and experience feelings that maybe aren't so wonderful, but with the understanding is that there's always going to be a way out. So if we haven't learned how to self-soothe, that's why all of that comes into play. And that is why probably doesn't matter what it is. Like I was saying at the beginning, it's not about the substance, it's about the behavior. So you're looking and you shared, and I am honored that you would share that here, about feeling like you self-loathe and, have such this test for within yourself. And so when that happens, you're looking at other things just to take you away because you're in pain. Mm-hmm. And when we are in emotional and spiritual pain, until we understand that, it's very hard to cope and deal with those things. Mm-hmm. And have you been in therapy?
Me? Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
So Rachel,
I mean, I've been in therapy. I've done AA, and I'll tell you something about it. The only thing, I adore the 12 steps, because I think that the 12 steps, when you do them, whether you're addicted or not, whether you're a normal person or not, right, those 12 steps write your life.
Yes.
Like doing a fourth step and right, making amends, and it's just if they taught that in school,
that's what I say. To be taught in elementary school.
Yeah.
I also, if I'm, can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
I also feel that there's a mystique, there's some sort of mystery to why some people can recover and others can't, like my best friend, because she was always in and out of recovery. She was always reading the blue book. Then she would do fine. She would relapse all the time. And then what's weird is that her stepdad actually was going on 25 years sober. He was able to do it. So I don't know, Rachel, if you can speak on what makes some addicts able to recover and why some, no matter how much they want to and how much they try, it's just, I don't know if you can even answer that.
Well, I mean, this is in my experience. So, there's generally a foundation of, I want to get sober. I don't want to live like this anymore. But what I know, and it could be the same for me as, yes, I want to be like a size 2 again. And I want my abdomen to be really tight and flat. But if I don't go to the gym and I don't do the exercise and I don't watch what I eat, right, that's not going to happen. So it's about doing the work, and we are all created differently. And so some people can be very disciplined when they decide they want recovery, and they go to therapy, they take their medications, they go to meetings, they humble themselves, they ask for help, they work with sponsors, and they really delve in to what they're hearing needs to happen to achieve sobriety. I have a best friend who, she's one of those ones that we call a one-hit wonder. I mean, 15 years ago when I helped her get sober, she's never relapsed.
Yeah.
And it's because she was not going to give in. She was going to do all the work. A lot of people focus on, how do I not pick this drug up? How do I not pick this drink up? But again, remember I was telling you, it comes back to being in the solution and knowing what you're resilient. And so working that way, because you have to do the work. You can't want to get thin and it happens. You can't want to do a lot of things and it just appears. It's always about work and how hard are you willing to work for something?
Rachel, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Because how do you explain then my situation, for example? I was an addict, and I would wake up every day and lie to myself and beat myself up. And then one day I woke up after 2 days of not being able to find weed, and I was done. I didn't go to any meetings. I didn't do any work that I knew of anyway. Not back then. I have now, but I just I don't get it.
Well, again, it's about genetics and it's about hardwiring, because addiction is about the loops and the hardwiring in the brain. And we know that as we have been able to understand more through the years about addiction as it being a genetic biological disease. So if there was, let's say, a lab test that I could give you, right? And it would say if it was positive for Q, you would be an addict. And if it's negative for Y, you might not be. Maybe you're just not genetically wired that way. But because I can't show you, other than somebody who drinks a lot, when I can show them that their liver is in trouble and their liver enzymes are really bad, and I can, show that to somebody so they can get some kind of understanding. Well, here's a tangible piece of information that can make somebody go, okay, wait. But for the most part with addiction, it's not the same as when somebody has cancer. I can't show you a tumor. I can't show you lab work that says you're an addict or not. When I hear stories like that, my first thought is you just might not be wired for addiction. And also I think there's a maturity too. So, I partied my ass off at University of Miami. I partied my ass off for years, and I even partied with my brother that I lost. But after a Saturday or Sunday, I went back to school or I went back to work, and, life just progressed. And, I did a lot of, ecstasy when it first came out, but I'm just not wired that way, as I understand, because I don't have any addictive, behaviors. And so maybe you're just not. Maybe maturity came in, because a lot of times I find that people that are in treatment, sometimes, the truth is, after you do a lot of the scaling and the work and the understanding, it's not even about addiction so much as it is they needed to mature. and grow into this rational thought process of like, yeah, I can't spend my days and my money just smoking weed and doing nothing. Yes, Gaye.
Okay, hold on. Everybody, you're watching Between the Sheets podcast. Very heavy show tonight. We're on the first and third Friday of every month here on United Broadcasting Network. I hope you're enjoying this. We have wonderful, lovely comedian Sandra Valls and Rachel Simpson, who obviously is an addiction specialist. Please call us, 323-524-2599, and we do have a caller. Hello, caller. Are you there?
Yes.
Hello. Hi, who's calling?
This is Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. What would you like to say?
I didn't think I was going to get called on, but that's okay. I've been going to 12-step meetings for a really long time, and it's for Al-Anon. It's not for a particular addiction, except I've been addicted to addicts.
Yeah.
And it has been interesting because, and I've read several Melody Beattie books, and in one of her first books, she states that there's very little difference between the addict and the codependent. They both mirror and have the same issues. So it's the same thing. They're both trying to just numb out from their lives and not deal with what's going on is really what it is. They're trying to find a distraction from themselves. That's what I feel anyway.
Can I just say something here? I agree with you because, I mean, I'm an addict. I'm an addict to love. I'm an addict to bad relationships. I just am. And I do see it within myself, which is why, I try to get more spiritual because I think because they are a mirror of me. I mean, what I see in them, what they trigger me, which triggers me to smoke more or triggers me to whatever the hell else I'm going to do. It is that mirror thing. And it's just, I do find, I look to spirituality and not religion, but spirituality to get through that. And, so, is that what sort of you're saying?
I am. That's exactly what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. That it really comes down to that people that grow up in dysfunctional families, whether they're alcoholics, my mother was schizophrenic, but whatever it is that started off your family of origin that created this, it really comes down to filling that hole. You have a gaping hole and you're just filling it up. And it's until you start learning to start healing that part is then when those addictions become less and less.
I agree.
And
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. Yeah.
Well, thank you for calling. I'll have Rachel answer. Then I know Cheryl wanted to say something, and Sandra's going to give us a song. So that's the order of what we're doing here. So Rachel, can you speak to that? Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. All right.
So,
okay, Rachel.
Again, just going off of what we've already said, it is not about the substance or the behavior. It is absolutely filling a void. It is covering up the trauma, covering up the pain. We always say the drug is not the problem. It is the solution to the problem. And even bad behaviors and bad relationships and that pull to toxicity and narcissistic people. You know what? It's just another kind of drug.
No, not the N word. God damn it.
I know. I see your post all the time.
It had to come up.
But, and it makes sense. It is the pull to all this chaos that helps us distract ourselves from what the real issue is. And you said it beautifully because I said before, you are devoid of a spiritual presence. And so and a lot of people have a tough time. They're like, well, I don't believe in God, so this doesn't work for me. It doesn't have to be God. It can be anything. But believing in a power greater than yourself, an energy, And it's out there. It's out there for all of us. And we become comfortable with that, then the addiction can dissipate because we become stronger.
Exactly.
That's
Cheryl, you
Rachel,
had your hand up.
My question, Rachel, is what about gender? Like, have you noticed more men than women, or lately more women than men, with the addictions? I mean, what are you seeing in the work that you're doing? Is it a big difference or big shift happening?
No. The trend has always been at any given time in any facility, there's generally more men than women. But I'll tell you why. This is my belief, and colleagues and I have talked about this through the years, is that the guys don't get to go as long without there being really bad consequences, but the women can use. And a lot of understand, people don't end up in rehab because they wake up one morning and they go, I want to be told when to pee. I want to be told what I'm going to eat. I want to be told when I have to wake up. I'm so excited. I want to go to rehab. But guys end up generally with more consequences. And that's how people generally get into treatment to begin with. We call them external motivating factors. If they're not parents or loved ones or the law, there's something else going on. But women can maintain a lot longer because, men are willing to support women like that. I can get her to do anything. I just pay for her drugs and I give her money. And, it's a very, very strange dichotomy, the way it is sliced and diced. So there's, men don't have that. When men run out, and there are men, solid straight men, that will cry and tell you stories of things that they've done they would never do if they weren't.
Explain lesbians then.
Yeah, exactly. Hello. But Sandra just private messaged me that you said there's a good book by a comedian.
My very, very good friend, Amy Dresner, who is in recovery, she's hysterical. One of her things that helped her maintain her recovery, she wrote a memoir about her life called My Fair Junkie. Mm-hmm. And I got to say, I picked it up to support her and I started reading it. And it was at the same time hilarious, but heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because she was so raw and honest. And as I'm reading it, I had to remind myself, whoa, this is my friend. I had no idea. I mean, and I feel like crying right now because it's so honest and so unlike any book on the subject that I've ever read. It's called My Fair Junkie by Amy Dresner. She's hilarious, even as just a person that you should have her on because she's just so brilliant.
But I have a question, and I will, and certainly give her my number. But comedians, I've worked with my share, and they're very neurotic and insecure. And a lot of the comedians that I've worked with,
right here, I can hear you,
Sandra, not you.
Not you. But I'm talking about really well known.
Sorry. Excuse me. I still can hear you.
I can't mention their names, but I'm talking about, but they do this facade,
Yes.
and it's out there, but they're really in pain, which is, humor comes from pain.
Right.
Let's think about it.
Right.
I'm funny. I'm not a comedian. I am funny, but my most funny things come from painful experiences that I can laugh about because that's the way I can handle it. So Sandra, as a comedian, and you based your comedy on your life. Is it out of some pain, and that's the way your therapy of sort of sharing, or no, or are you just fucking funny?
I'm just fucking funny. I think it's how I understand that. Yes, just like any good Adele song might come from some pain, but also good songs come from your life and your happy moments and your ability to observe and take it in and get to know yourself and be an empath like I am, and just be always in touch with source and all these beautiful spiritual things. Certainly humor helps when you're dealing with a challenging situation. And I think that some of us as a child developed that as a defense or as a kind of a see how I can, a way of dealing with it. And so I do, yes, I think, and Rachel, you've seen a lot of my comedy at the Olivia trips, and some of it's really funny, and some of it comes from some pain that you got to be willing to come out and transform a heartbreaking thing into a laughable thing. Like, you know, it's important. I've reminded myself that through this whole ordeal with the coronavirus, our first instinct is to make a joke, not make light of it. There's a difference. Right. And I don't like comedians who take serious issues and make a mockery of it or light. I don't like that. But, you know, little things like I'm getting a corona brow, or like, you know, like just things that I'm noticing that I'm like doing, like I'm all full of like fun facts now.
Well, I'll let you think about your fun facts, and we've got a caller, so let's see who the caller is.
Yeah.
Hi there.
It's
Joe.
Welcome to Between the Sheets. Who's calling?
Hi there. It's Joe Papadenitz.
Hey, Joe Papadenitz. How are you?
I'm good. I came on. I'm not sure if you've already mentioned this individual, and I'm really glad that you are all kind of separating addiction from trauma. There's a doctor in Canada, I'm sure you've heard of him, Dr. Gabo Mate, and a well-known addiction specialist. And he worked 12 years in downtown Vancouver with hardcore drug users. And what he found in all those 12 years working with them is that every single one of them was abused as a child. Every single one of them had childhood trauma, and whether it was physical, emotional, or sexual abuse. So he's almost taken the word addiction out of it, because he says it's really based on the trauma. You're not, like you're talking about, you're not addicted to the substance. You're addicted. You don't have an addiction. You've just found a coping mechanism. So,
is that fair to say, Joe, that do you think he's trying to say that every addict is trying to cope with trauma?
Absolutely. That's what he says. He says he never met one that didn't have childhood trauma.
I think that's a huge,
12 years with hundreds of patients. Every single one of them did.
Okay, hold on, Joe. Hold on, Joe. Go ahead, Kim. What were you going to say?
Well, no, I think that's probably dead on. I mean, I'll tell you that I was a victim of sexual assault as a 3-year-old.
Oh my God.
And I don't think it got any better after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Kim.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it runs in families, you know, my sister too, babysitters. And what happens as a child when you have something like that, because it doesn't, I don't know that it just happens once. And then you start to feel like you've got this label on your forehead that says, yeah, fucking molest me. You know what I mean? And you take it on, it's your fault. I mean, and Rachel, I'm sure you can attest to this. As a child, if your parents get divorced, it's your fault. If something bad happens, it's your fault. So to have something that's happening like that to you and to take that in as your fault, you know, I mean, my sister didn't make it out of that. She died a junkie on a park bench 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago now. So, you know, it's big.
Something I'd like to add on real quick is we've learned that there's something now called generational trauma. So
thanks, Joe.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Generational trauma. Go ahead.
Yeah, that we don't actually have to, as the person, experience the trauma, but they've done such amazing work to even understand how, like, relative.
Uh-oh.
We lost your audio, Rachel.
Shame, because that was so good.
I know.
I think what she's saying is that it just comes through the generations.
Yeah. I mean, I think so too. I mean, Rachel, your audio was off. Not off, but it's spotty.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, what were you saying?
So that, I don't know where I left it, but that generational trauma, we have uncovered the understanding that, for instance, people who have been in the Holocaust, like, you know, as their generations behind them develop these addictions and develop severe anxiety, because, you know, all of those things are really, you know, go hand in hand with addiction. And they are saying that, you know, the trauma is passed down because it becomes genetic in your genetic coding. So look, I have been in the field, I was saying 25 years. Not every client I have ever seen has had that kind of trauma. That's not been my experience in a very long time. But we can kind of go back through the family and see where there might have been, you know, an instance or something that could have, you know, been passed down. So it's generational trauma. And, you know, there's things, even the way that you are born and that day, the way you come into this world.
Well, can I also say something very important that I don't feel has been touched upon? And that's that the biggest misconception that I see a lot of people that have not been through this, that
you got to just stop this. It's not so simple.
Oh, well, yeah, that too. Exactly. You know, that's what I was going to say is basically if they loved me enough, they obviously love their addiction more than they love me. And that's the biggest misunderstanding, because this addiction, any addiction that some of these addicts are under, it's that they feel controlled by that addiction, and it's not personal. And they could stop, a lot of them could stop if they want, but I think that the two biggest things here are feeling like you can save someone, which is a huge misconception. No one likes to see their loved ones hit rock bottom and all that. But the biggest misconception, though, is that they can stop them. And that brings me to the 3 C's that we learned about in treatment. You didn't cause it, you can't control it, and you didn't create it. I think those are the 3 C's.
But I think the hardest thing, just to add on that, Mara, I think some people like myself, you know, we're fixers. We try to help. We don't want to see that, playing off of what you say, Mara. But it is really hard to see people that we love go on this path.
Of course
And you try to be there for them. And if you're not, you know, if you don't know the trauma, or you don't have the trauma, or they're not willing to enlighten you to sort of where that is, you know, it's really hard. And I think as empaths, I think we all try to help and facilitate, but it is beyond anything beyond that what we can do. We are not professional. And then you can see all this happening. And then, I mean, I wasn't with anybody, but I mean, I was working with someone who was an alcoholic, and she was completely in denial. And I would say to her, and I never said, you're an alcoholic, you know, I said, you know, we've both been drinking a lot. You know, why don't we go to go to AA? We'll go together, you know, and that, you know, when you tell an alcoholic that they're not that you don't even have to say you're an alcoholic. You can just bring the topic up. They're in denial. And I find out when any addict is in denial, including myself, I don't want to fucking hear it. It's like, I have to come to that space to myself to go, I don't want to do this anymore. And the more people tell me not to do it, the more it's like, fuck you, I'm going to do it more. You can't tell me what to do.
Well, that's why I had to, as many people do, I had to walk away from both alcoholics in my life. And it was really, really unbearable to walk away knowing that you could not save that person, but that's what you had to do, because for my own sanity and my own protection, you have to grasp the fact that you really sincerely cannot save them.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
And it's not your job to save them. And my best friend died when I finally walked away, and I said, I'm sorry, but you don't seem serious after all these. She would relapse, and then she just didn't seem like she was committed enough to stick with it. And after 16 years, I finally said, I want you to get serious, and I can't be in this right now. I set a really strong boundary. because I think I knew deep down that she was going to die, and I didn't want to be there.
Exactly. But Mara, I have a question, and I have a question for you, Rachel. So people that are the fixers, people that want to help, that want to save, how do, if let's say they do die, how do we, I mean, I that's never happened to me, and I always dreaded it. But I know that I would feel completely responsible for that. I know that.
Guys, here's the thing. Like you all talk about it like that. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, it's not up to us to judge them. And it's not up to us to get them to conform to our standards about what we think is right or what we think they should do. What if we just loved them the way they were? And if they die, they die. But at least we loved them. And we accept them exactly where they are.
And I hate to bring it back to the coronavirus, but that is kind of how I'm feeling right now with some of my friends who are not practicing social distancing. I'm so angry, but what can I do? I realized today, you know what? It's their life, and I can't change anything about that. So what can you do?
I have two things to say about that. So I always believe that you should love the person, as you said, and I agree with you. You know, you have to love somebody just how they are. But the other side of that is when you are dealing with it enough, we have to be careful to not love them to death and to enable them. And so there's a lot of enmeshment that goes on. And, you know, I'm a mother of an 18-year-old boy. And, you know, I can't imagine having to ever be the one to say, get out of my house. But, you know, you have to understand truly how baffling and manipulative the disease is, not the person. And I often share with my clients, and I have for years, that it helps them a little bit more, that they are not their
disease, right? They're not
right.
their
disease.
You separate the person from the sickness. Yeah, definitely.
Rachel, you froze, but you probably know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I know she's trying to say something.
Oh, me?
Nope. Still
I was off.
We could do Sandra's song.
Yeah, we could do Sandra's song. Sandra has a very good choice for us tonight. It just a tiny snippet.
I changed my song in the middle of it all.
Okay.
Because the conversation changed. And,
all right.
I think this is a really good. I'm going to sing a little bit. I wasn't prepared. Excuse me. But it's got to be from my phone. So let me see if you all hear it. Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Loud or soft? Can you hear
it? It's fine.
When you're down and out, when you're on the street, when darkness comes so hard, I'll be there to comfort you. I'll take the bow. Oh, when darkness comes and when there's no one that you love around, just like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down just like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down. Okay.
All right.
Oh, that was so beautiful.
That was really
Wow.
amazing voice and
Whoa.
you
Yeah.
feel your soul in there.
That's what I love about Sandra.
I love that.
We felt you
So unexpected. I thought you were going to sing a comedy song. Beautiful.
That was amazing, Sandra.
Thank you, Mama.
So Sandra,
Yes.
tell us. Let's move off the addiction just for a second, but just because that was a nice transition. So tell us about what you've been up to. Tell us about the play that you did in New York. I want to hear about that.
So, well, first of all, I've been up to, I forgot to tell you that I recorded this video where my friend Deborah Barsha, who's an off-Broadway composer, she's like the musical director for Jersey Boys and Tina Turner and Donna Summer. She wrote this song called We're Still Here for the healthcare workers. Mm-hmm. And we all recorded it a chunk in our house, like a We Are the World kind of thing. And it's out. It's on YouTube. I'll share it with you all.
Will you please? Yeah.
Share it to the healthcare workers because it's a tribute to them. But yeah, my show, the Latina Christmas Special, it came out. This was like 7 years ago. I had a horrible breakup where I lost everything. Like everything, 2013. And my friend, Diana Yanis, who's also a comic, was like, Kuka, let's write something, Amal, write something. I don't even want to take a shower, much less write something. My breakup was in October. And so she was like, let's just write something, Latina Christmas special, because we didn't grow up with Christmas specials that looked like me. I know I look white or Greek or Persian, but I'm Mexican. So everything was like white and Bob Hope and Donnie and Marie. And I grew up in the 70s. So she's like, let's just write about growing up in Christmas. So we wrote a little something in 2013, and the play grew. It's like 3 one-woman shows, me, Diana, and Maria Kirby. And it grew and grew and grew in 5 years. And last year, we just happened to be at the right place at the right time. Diana's connections were in New York in 2018. And they were like, do you have a demo of the play? We're like, yeah. And we were off Broadway last Christmas.
Wow.
I mean, we were like, what? Like, we had 22 shows at the Soho Playhouse. Wow. We just kept doing it every year, and it kept growing, and the audience, and we got Critics' Choice in LA, and we just kept changing it and tweaking it and just being honest about our lives. And I talk about growing up in the 70s, a big lesbian in Laredo, Texas, and about growing up in Miami, Cuban, and I'm Mexican, and Maria's half Mexican and half Lithuanian in LA. And just the funny things and that happen in our lives. And I sing in it. We dance, of course. We're Latina. You got to have sing and dance. And we give the shots. I know it's about addiction, but I'm Mexican. So we were just off Broadway last year, and heaven knows what's going to happen this year. Let's hope this whole thing gets squashed so we can go back. Because we had sold out shows. We were like, well, New York is full of, play. And if we get a few people, at least we could at least put it in the resume, right?
Right.
We got like packed houses, like $40 a ticket. I'm like, they're paying $40 to see it. So that was great. And right after that, I did a play in LA called Frida, Stroke of Passion, where I played Chavela Vargas.
That's with Odalis Nanin, right?
She wrote it, directed it. She was in it. She played Frida, and I played Frida's girlfriend, Chavela Vargas, who's actually like this ranchera singer. She is like a lesbian Mexican icon. Mm-hmm. And then I was here to play Ro, but what am I up to? Just enjoying where I am and looking forward to what's coming. I mean, developing.
And if people tuned in late, what do you do every Saturday with your sister?
Oh, yes. So we do what's called Playroom Karaoke. And we sing songs like from 7 to 10, and we take requests, and we have a raffle, and because we were cleaning out the garage, and I have a whole bunch of cool toys and cool stuff, and we were like, we can't Etsy this right now. I don't think anyone's well, can we garage sale it? And I go, let's raffle it. And so it's funny, stupid things, but we sing every Saturday at 7 p.m. Central and in the playroom, and just to keep our spirits up. It's important. The vibration we put out, it's important to stay in a kind of uplifting, higher vibration so that we can deal with things that come our way and not be so spongy all the time because I know that I'm like, is this my emotion or is it everyone else's? Because I was happy a minute ago, you know?
Right.
I think we're picking up on people's shit. I don't watch the news. Even if I scroll on Facebook.
Me either.
I'm just like, I scroll on Facebook and the shit that I see. I mean,
and it's a bunch of shit. A lot of it is a bunch of shit.
And I try, you know, this one, a person that was talking spiritually, I forget where I saw him. He said, be careful what you put in your doors, your mouth, you know, what you eat, what you think, what you watch. People are still watching like, let's watch The Handmaid's Tale. I'm like, no, that's the
Yeah. I started watching Beverly Hills 90210, the original from the beginning.
Why you
That'll do it.
And put in your door.
And anything but Tiger King, because that's disgusting.
No.
I've been doing Outlander, and it's 5 seasons. So if this Corona thing lasts, I will have seen the whole season. Cheryl, but I have a question for Cheryl, because Cheryl is a medium. She's tuned in. This is her job.
I have a funny comment for Cheryl. Just a side.
Yes.
So Cheryl, I'm kind of sort of psychic too. Kind of, I hear and I feel things. And in my rider, because I travel a lot, I have my contract, you know, snacks, water, whatever. Then I have accommodations, hotel, clean. And then it says in big bold letters, italicized and underlined, must not be haunted. And then I write, this is not a joke. I'm not even playing. I'm like, I will not stay in a haunted hotel like I have
Won't
before.
be able to stay at the Glen Tavern Inn in Santa Paula, man.
No, I travel with cigars and salt and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like,
wow.
Brujeria. Cheryl.
Yes.
So considering, you know, you're seeing it from a different angle. I mean, Rachel's taking it from like an addictive angle. You've been doing, I've seen it all over Facebook. You've been doing a lot of readings and stuff with groups. What are you sensing? What are you getting from this time now with people? The energy.
Well, I got to tell you, I love it that everyone's really thinking about keeping their vibration high. It's really important. But, you know, an observation that all of this is happening, right? We're all indoors now, right? So we're all in, we can't go out. So what's happening is everyone's going inward, right? Or at least most people are. We're going inward. It's as if one of our senses we don't have anymore. So we're opening up our other senses, you know, our inner sight, our inner feeling. And there's so much, as Rachel was saying, there's so much spiritual awakening happening now. There's so many people waking up and so many empaths coming and realizing, hey, look, we are very sensitive beings. We are highly sensitive. And that's really one of the beautiful opportunities that's coming out of this. So let's not, you know, let's try to get those golden nuggets, you know, through chanting or, you know, meditation or singing karaoke. You know, it is about raising that vibration and understanding that not only is it an I collective, or it was an I collective, but now it's a we collective consciousness, right? It's a global community, right? So we are really all in this together, but there's so much more to each human being. We're going to look inside each other's soul next time we see each other in person. You know, we're going to really take notice. And that's such a beautiful heart opening experience. There's a lot of beauty happening at the same time. Yeah.
I also might add a little bit of something. I think that what we took for granted is now, you know, hopefully appreciated more, you know.
Definitely.
You know, sometimes it takes you not having something to kind of appreciate.
Truly, and
those are the
store.
Yeah, but those are the people that are truly evolved, because an asshole is going to be an asshole no matter what the situation is. And I let them, and you know, I give them and I allow them to go with love, because no more assholes. I mean, it's seriously, I mean, like look at the people, and I'm not talking about anybody personally. I'm just talking about, look at those fuckers that are still like on Trump's bandwagon. Those people, assholes. So, I mean, you know, you got to let them go with love and say, namaste away, please. Hey, guess what, people? Guess what? It's an hour and a half. We're done. I told you guys it'd be over soon. An hour and a half. I know.
Great.
So I know this is a heavy topic. I appreciate everybody on the show bearing their souls, just sharing, giving some love and light to people out there. We are fortunate. I'm fortunate to have all of you in my life, and that's an amazing blessing. And we don't have to talk every day. It's just, I know you guys are here, and you guys are here for me as I am there for you. So again, this is a really heavy show with a really wonderful topic. Rachel, I want to say thank you. I'm glad I sought you out on Facebook. And I appreciate you imparting everything and giving everybody hope that an addiction is not a death sentence. There is hope. So I appreciate all you do, because you are a healthcare worker and you are still doing what you do. And I want to say thank you, because people like you in these times now are very necessary. So thank you for all you do.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. You've all been so amazing. Thank you.
Now, do you want to promote anything? Is there a website? Is there anything that you do do you do phone things? What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's listening, but I'll shout out my number because I travel anywhere for interventions, and I do like concierge recovery services as well in the home. So the number is 305-450-9941.
Hold on, wait. 9941. Hold on. All right, 305. I'm putting it on the feed as we're doing it. 305-450-9941, correct?
So even if it's somebody who needs placement and there's nothing I can do for them, I will try to connect them to any place that, we can find. And that's 24/7, because, addiction has never been 9 to 5. It will never be, but I'm always available to help.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You have a beautiful, not only you do what you do, but you have a beautiful heart. And now punting to Sandra Valls, who has one of the biggest Mexican hearts I know. I love you, and you make me laugh. People usually don't make me laugh. And when I stumbled upon your show a couple of Saturdays ago, and I was jodiendo that means bothering her in Spanish.
Fucking bothering like every 5 minutes. Sing this one. And we did, though. We sang.
You did. You absolutely did. And because, you never give a DJ power to request a song. You never do that. So I just want to say you entertain me. You and your sister are just really beautiful souls. I always knew you were one. You've grown into a bigger, beautiful soul. I love that you chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. Do you, and I mean, is that all right now that you're promoting is the Saturday event?
No, I actually have Women's Week coming up in October in Provincetown. I will be there. I also have 2 Olivia trips. Let's hope it happens, because I'm going to Tahiti.
Oh!
With Olivia, and that's in September, and in November, Olivia is also going to Turks and Caicos.
Oh.
Let's hope that happens too. But everything else has been canceled that I had planned. I make my money with crowds.
Yeah.
But
do you have any online shows coming up as well?
Yes. Oh, thank you for reminding me. I have an online show that I'm going to post for Olivia, but I also have an Andrea Meyerson, a Women on a Roll online show. 2 shows in one day, Cinco de Mayo, because I'm the Mexican. Yeah. That's the online show. I find the online shows kind of weird. How do you do stand-up for to the screen?
Tough crowd.
Yeah. Hello, is this on? Anyway, it's like trying to swim in a bathtub. How does an Olympic swimmer want to be swim in a bucket? I don't know.
Where do we find your karaoke on a Saturday? How do we find that?
On Facebook, Sandra Valls, V as in Victor, ALLS. I posted. I'm going live now on my page. Also, my website's welovesandra.com. That's just in general for.
Cute. And we do love Sandra.
We do.
And Kim and I went to go see. You were one of the comedians that Andrea Meyerson had at the Spencer. And I have to say, besides the fact that I've known you for years, you still are, you were one of the funniest people on that stage, and beyond talented, because you are a quadruple threat. You're not just a comedian, and you make people smile, you make people laugh, you leave the stage and everybody's better because of you. So thank you for what you do to our community and to anybody else. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
For real.
Thank you.
So Cheryl, what do you have going on online? What do you need to promote?
I'm doing online now, every, April 22nd, I'm teaching an online course called The Art of Manifesting. So helping everyone kind of get clear on what we want to create, right? What you want to create for the next month and next year. So you can check that out. Definitely. So just check out my website. It's psychicmediumcherylmurphy.com.
Do you teach tarot? I just bought my first tarot deck.
I'll teach you.
Yeah.
I'll show you how to do it. I've done it for 21. I've done it since I was 21. So we'll talk offline. I'll show you.
Okay.
But it's not about that. I do it a completely different way, and it has nothing to do with the cards. It has to do with spirit speaking through you. And that's the only way to do tarot cards. So you have to open yourself up. Just saying. Delisha, did I say it right again?
You did. I'm so impressed. Shout out to you. Big love, Gaye. You can find me on whatthehealth.net. I haven't been super active on there, but yeah, that's where I'm at, or on Facebook, What the Health.
And then, by the way, when your fruit trees, give me a call. Hey, look, Kim, you want to drive up to her place? She's like in Santa Paula. Kim and I are dying to do a road trip, and we'll bring Cara too.
You guys just have to stay 6 feet away from me, and I have to wear a mask.
We're good. We got all that. Kim goes out every single day.
Every single day.
Fucking
That's what scares me, girl.
Yes, me too.
I know. I'm sorry, Delisha. I will have to stay at least 10 feet away from you. Please. I'm so sorry.
I have an autoimmune, so I got to be super careful.
So Kim, Kim, actually, I have to give Kim kudos, because out of everybody here, we can do whatever we do from our homes. Kim is, she's not a healthcare worker. She's not a doctor. She's not a this, but, she goes out there every single day, and she is a champion for me. And I love her. I worry about her every fucking moment.
Dude, you know what? I'm too wicked to get sick.
I know. And and the thing is, you don't put it out in the universe, because the putting shit out in the universe is so powerful, and people don't get it. And I love your attitude. I love your spirit. You are my sister. I adore you. And my life is better with you in it. So
thank you so much.
And then I have my baby sister, Mara. Mara, I can't pronounce your real last name, because it's just when you have
the S is silent.
Sabo. Okay, thank you.
Right. I'm not silent.
No, you absolutely. And I'm happy because you're not. You have so much to say. You are so insightful. You are such an old soul. You have experienced so much. You teach me, and I'm sure you teach all of us, just a little bit better. I mean, I'm sitting here going, maybe I have to go to Al-Anon. Oh shit, I think I am codependent, motherfucker. So, I mean, I'll call you. So what do you have? What do you have going on, sweetheart, besides painting that beautiful thing for Delisha? And I can't wait till it's out there and showcased, and you get the accolades of your great artistic ability that you deserve.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I do time to time. I do silly videos that I put up on my Facebook page, which is not Mara Zavo, it's Mara Shane. So you can check out my stuff on Mara Shane. And I'm going to start painting more jackets. And I'm also working right now on what they call a show Bible. I have this concept for a show that I want to pitch, and I'm excited about that.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Thank you. And then there's Cara.
Hello there. I am actually still working, because as a voice artist with my own little studio, I'm still getting the odd job, not as many, and it's not as interesting. So I guess maybe what am I going to do? I should maybe start up an online course on, bring back McCarthyism. Let's start snitching on our neighbors when they're not wearing a fucking mask. What the fuck is that?
Cara, can you say fucking mask again? In your
Fucking mask.
Mask, okay.
Well, I mean, I have a problem. My neighbors had like a car birthday party for their child a couple weekends ago, which cute idea, right? But everybody's handing them a present or whatnot. Plus, the problem was it backed up the cars so much, and I'm sitting out there trying to work in my garden. They're less than 10 feet away from me with the windows rolled down, their kids in their car, laughing, giggling. I'm like, I'm trying to protect myself here, people, you know? So it's not really a joke that I wanted to call the cops on my neighbors, but my neighbors are the cops. So what do you do?
Exactly. You're fucked. You're fucked no matter. Hey, everybody. Kurt, thank you for running the boards today.
Thank you, Kurt.
No problem.
Hey, Kurt, can we see you? Can you put your little face up so people can know who the what is it? The Dr. Oz, or not Dr. Oz, that's the other guy. But you know, the Wizard of Oz, the powerful, whatever.
Behind the curtain type of thing. I don't have a camera on me, unfortunately. I would have to set that up. And
all right.
sorry.
Well, thank you. So thank you so much for what you do. And I appreciate you always taking care of us, and be safe and be well. And everyone, thank you. Thank you for listening to another show of Between the Sheets podcast. We're here every first and third Friday of every month. So the first Friday in May, we all know her as Max Mecca, but her name is Kelly Gilliam. And we have just another fun category, human trafficking. That's what we're going to be covering, human trafficking. And then we will have Stephanie. Cara, help me. What's Stephanie's last name? Why can't I fucking remember?
Dumont.
God, it's Stephanie Dumont. Oh my God. Stephanie Dumont. I think she'll be on. And she has a wonderful show on the Active Something Network. I don't prepare. You people fucking know I don't prepare. But we're here every first and third Friday. What I'm doing is I'm doing weekly on Thursdays, Zoom happy hours, the Between the Sheets Zoom happy hours from 6 p.m. Pacific to 7 p.m. Pacific. I will post the Zoom meeting number on my private Facebook page, as well as the Between the Sheets page. We get wonderful women from all around the United States. You know, if any men comes in and they do stupid stuff, I just block them. And that's the fun part, because I'm cock blocking. Get it? I'm actually cock blocking.
Literally.
I was there yesterday. I was there in the hot tub, ready and waiting, but I couldn't find the link.
It's okay. I will teach you. And then every night, and I consider myself crazy for doing this, but I challenged myself every night to sort of not, you know, it's going to sound weird, but it's not like I'm a beacon of hope, but I am consistent. And I know during this time, I miss social contact. I miss engaging. So what I do every night at 7:30 p.m. Pacific is I go on Facebook and do a Facebook Live for about a half an hour. Sometimes topics, sometimes not. Sometimes it's rambling. Sometimes reveal too much about myself. But it's a place that anybody can come to listen, to spread the joy, spread the pain sometimes. And I get really personal. But why not? I mean, you don't do fear. I can't do it in fear. You have to be vulnerable, authentic, honest, and that's what empaths do. So I promised everybody I will do it every single night, and I have been since the pandemic started and the isolation until it's over. Now I hear it's probably going to go to June 2021. So we'll see how that happens. But I just want to thank all of you, every single one of you here, every single one of you watching, for supporting, for spreading the word. We are here for you. This is Between the Sheets. We talk a lot about Between the Sheets, but this show has always been heart and soul, the heart and soul of every single one of us. So you are part of us. So I appreciate you. I thank you. We will get through this bullshit. And I don't mean it's bullshit meaning bad, but I mean all this stuff we will get through, because we are a community now. We are an absolute community, and we need to stick together. Check in on your neighbors. Wear those goddamn masks. Do everything you're supposed to do. Be your brother's keeper. Check in on your neighbors. Like I said, it's awareness. It's love, kindness, compassion, joy, peace, and every other word. This is the time to be within ourselves and take whatever was in us and have that positivity energy just sort of beam out from us to touch those who cannot get there. And I love you all. Thank you so much, every single person on this page. You make me a better person. You contribute to the show. I am who I am because of you. The show is a success because of you. And if no one's heard, best news ever. CBS, who I work for, endorsed my show. So I've got CBS behind us on this show now. So, hey, we're doing something good and somebody else thinks so. So I love you all. Be well, be safe, be kind. It's all about love. It really is all about love. So I will talk to you soon. I miss seeing you. I miss hugging you and touching you guys, not inappropriately. Okay, maybe some of you guys inappropriately. Why not? I know. So on that note, thank you, everybody. Please have a great night. Have a great week. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And as I always sign off, namaste. Namaste, everyone.
Nice. Namaste. Home.
Namaste.
Yeah, you're going to stay home. I love you guys. Thank you. Hey, Kurt, where's the music? Where's the music, Kurt?
It's playing.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.